Look at your life, the hours you've wasted wondering, doubting. You know there's more in you, a burning potential, but you haven't moved, not because you lack knowledge, but because you lack command. You are not lazy, you are simply undirected, a ship without a rudder. And this speech, if you obey it, will give you laws to break free. Listen to me closely. If you absorb these principles with full belief, you will never think about money the same again. You will stop chasing pennies. You will start commanding purpose. You will see opportunities you've walked past for years. The question, why does nothing work for me, will vanish. You'll know what mental seeds to plant, what empowering words to speak aloud, what decisive actions to act on. But be warned, if you merely drift, you will remain exactly as you are. You will continue begging for what you could be building another month, another year. Ruled by hesitation and invisible fear, you will stay broke, not in your bank, but in your most crucial realm, your belief. So ask yourself, with brutal honesty, why do others attract abundant wealth, while I, despite ceaseless efforts, work twice as hard and fall short? What is the real, unvarnished reason I keep stumbling? Is there a fundamental truth about how wealth is truly created? These agonizing questions have profound answers. Every single one is laid bare in this speech, so sit down, silence the outer world, listen closely, and this time do not drift, because what you are about to hear holds the power to either shatter the chains forever or tighten them one last time. The choice, as always, is entirely yours. You think wealth is merely blind fortune? Then let me awaken you to a higher truth. No man stumbles into riches. He plants them with deliberate intent. He does not receive them by favor. He commands them by law. Every dollar earned, every fortune formed, every empire built, began as a single, potent seed of thought, not labor, not chance, thought. The law of prosperity is not cunningly hidden, it is openly available, yet tragically ignored. You, like many, wait for external signs. You wait for the world to reward your wishes. But the fertile soil does not bless the man who holds the precious seed idly in his hand. No, it blesses only the man who plants it. This is your hour of planting. I speak now not just to your ears, but directly to your command center, your mind. The seed of wealth must be chosen deliberately. The fertile ground of your subconscious must be broken open by relentless repetition, and the magnificent harvest is produced only through consistent faith, deliberate speech, and unwavering action. If you plant confusion, you shall inevitably reap failure. If you plant vague hope, you shall reap frustrating delay. But if you plant definite purpose, unshakable faith, and decisive action, the entire world must, by immutable law, conform to the powerful pattern you have built within. You say you want unimaginable riches, but your mind is scattered, like a field overgrown with weeds. You think of glorious success one hour, and succumb to paralyzing fear the very next. You declare your ambitious dream in the morning, and allow gnawing doubt to erode it by night. The fertile soil of your subconscious does not respond to contradiction. The soil responds only to definite command, and I tell you now, with absolute certainty, no man becomes truly rich who does not first learn to command not only the world around him, but the very depths of his own mind. You do not simply wait for wealth to magically appear. You grow it. You grow it meticulously, by law. You grow it by planting your definite thought into the rich soil of your subconscious until it becomes an intrinsic part of your identity, until it becomes the very nature of your being. The man who becomes wealthy does not suddenly become something entirely new. He becomes exactly what he has consistently rehearsed in his mind, what he has spoken aloud with conviction, what he has vividly imagined, what he has deeply believed. This is not fantasy, not some whimsical daydream. This is the precise, methodical process by which Thomas Edison, through thousands of perceived failures, ultimately lit the world. He did not merely hope the bulb would miraculously shine. He believed, spoke, worked, and acted on the reality the world had never yet witnessed. It is the very method by which Henry Ford, amidst universal laughter and skepticism, imagined the automobile gracing every home. It is the method by which Andrew Carnegie, the Steel King, challenged me personally. Yes, he challenged me to profoundly write down the definite purpose of my life and then repeat it relentlessly, daily, until the world could no longer deny its inevitable reality. He did not say, "Try your best." He commanded, "Declare it," and I obeyed. I wrote, I repeated, I believed. And over time, the world itself bowed to what I first penned in profound silence, and so shall it bow to you. If you choose to obey these laws, you say, I want more. But the deeper, more crucial question is, have you precisely written what more truly means to you? Have you repeated it aloud, not as a whisper, but with potent belief? Have you taken the consistent daily steps to plant it, to water it, to shield it from external negativity? If not, you are not building a fortune, you are merely wishing for one, and the universe does not pay wages to wishes, it pays builders. So, I tell you this with an unquenchable fire in my voice. For the next few transformative moments, you shall be given 7 immutable mental laws, 7 foundational principles, 7 potent seeds. Each one, if planted with intention, spoken with conviction, and obeyed with relentless consistency, will take deep, unshakable root in your subconscious, and, from that root, as sure as the sun rises, will rise the magnificent tree of your prosperity. But I must issue a solemn warning. This is not a casual game. This is not something to try out when it's convenient. These are laws. They cannot be broken. Their power is absolute. They can only be ignored, and if you choose regrettably to ignore them, you shall continue to wander aimlessly. You shall continue to drift without purpose. You shall continue to beg for the abundant fruit you have stubbornly refused to sow. You cannot possibly reap what you refuse to plant. You cannot plant while passively waiting for conditions to be perfect, and you cannot delay and simultaneously expect the law to reward your inaction. Fertile ground does not wait patiently for the lazy man. Why then do you wait? Carnegie did not wait. Ford did not wait. Edison did not wait. They acted in absolute harmony with these laws. They moved decisively when others hesitated. They planted vigorously when others merely hoped. They built their unparalleled fortunes while the rest of the world timidly asked for permission. And in doing so, they became masters of their own fate. You must do the same, but to achieve this mastery, you must become definite in your purpose. You must literally write down the law you will obey. You must repeat it aloud, not once or twice, but until your mind wholeheartedly accepts it as an undeniable truth. You must act daily upon that definite purpose, even when the world does not applaud your efforts, even when the visible results remain unseen. For understand, this profound truth in the invisible roots lies the magnificent visible fruit. And now, it is your turn. You shall no longer walk in the confusion of indecision. You shall no longer whisper your desires as if they are fragile secrets. You shall no longer foolishly plant the weeds of doubt and expect to reap fields of solid gold. You shall rise. You shall definitively choose your aim. You shall believe in your coming wealth long before it physically appears. You shall speak it. You shall think it. You shall act upon it daily, and you shall inevitably reap, because the law says you must. So, let us begin. Let us plant the very first seed. Let us write the aim. Let us break the fertile ground of the mind, and let the planting of your wealth begin, by law. Principle 1. The seed of definite purpose. Wealth, by its very nature, flees the vague. It obeys only the definite. The very first, most fundamental act of a man who genuinely intends to become wealthy is not to labor harder in blind effort, nor to frantically ask for advice, nor to weakly plead with an imaginary fortune. His first, most crucial act is to become crystal clear, and clarity, true, unwavering clarity, begins not with aimless talk, but with ink on paper. Until your definite purpose is meticulously written down, you have none. You are merely a wanderer with fleeting wishes, not a true builder with a precise, executable plan. The first immutable principle of prosperity is this: no lasting wealth shall ever appear until a definite chief aim is meticulously written, boldly spoken aloud, and indelibly burned into the very fabric of your subconscious mind through consistent, fervent repetition. You must know, with absolute certainty, precisely where you are going, and you must declare it to yourself, in language that leaves no room for doubt, no space for ambiguity. A man with no written aim is akin to a magnificent ship at sea without a compass, charts, or a designated port. It may move, perhaps even with great power, but it shall never ever arrive at a desired destination. I learned this profound truth directly from the lips of Andrew Carnegie himself. He summoned me into his towering presence, and with a penetrating gaze asked, "What is your definite purpose?" I admit, I stumbled. I hesitated. I answered with vague, generalized words and nebulous hopes. He said nothing at first, allowing the silence to hang heavily. He merely looked at me with an aura of quiet strength, a silent challenge in his eyes. And then he spoke words that sliced through my complacency and forever changed the trajectory of my life. Until you write your purpose and repeat it daily, you are not a man, you are only a shadow. Those words struck my spirit like a bolt of lightning, shaking me to my core. I went home that very day, with a newfound urgency, and meticulously wrote down what I truly wanted. Not a casual sentence to be forgotten, not a fleeting hopeful thought. I wrote a powerful declaration. I poured every ounce of emotion, every fiber of desire, behind every single word. I read it aloud. I repeated it morning and night, with ritualistic devotion, and something profound shifted. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the universe began to respond. Not because I was suddenly more worthy than before, but because I had finally, undeniably, declared. Understand this deeply. A precisely written aim transforms a wandering, scattered thought into a powerful directed plow. It meticulously breaks the mental soil of your subconscious. It organically organizes your scattered ideas into a coherent blueprint. It provides unshakable direction to your subconscious mind, which then begins to work on your behalf. Tirelessly. The world outside you, the tangible reality, only begins to move in your favor when the world inside you, your inner mental landscape, is first made definite. Until your purpose is solidified in ink, it remains merely a wish, and wishes do not move the universe. Commands do. You do not weakly say, I would like to succeed. You declare, with unwavering conviction, I will accomplish this specific outcome by this exact date. I will exchange this precise value. I will create this measurable impact. That, my friend, is a command. That is a detailed blueprint. And once it is written, it is no longer floating in the ephemeral clouds of possibility. It is firmly grounded in the immutable law of action. The man who writes his definite chief aim and reads it aloud, morning and night, is consciously and subconsciously building a foundation that no storm of doubt or adversity can shake. He is issuing his subconscious mind an unshakable, undeniable order, and your subconscious, that vast reservoir of power, will obey what you repeat, so long as you repeat it with genuine belief. Affirm this now. Now I write my definite chief aim. I repeat it aloud. I burn it into my mind. My life obeys the law, I declare. Do not dismiss this as mere routine, a simple exercise. It is the beginning of everything significant. The seed that is never planted can never be watered, can never germinate. The goal that is never precisely written can never be intentionally, but a man may expend years working with all his might. But if his labor is undirected, he is like a man swinging wildly in the dark. You say you want success, but what, precisely, do you mean by that? What shall it look like in vivid detail? What tangible results do you expect to receive? What commensurate value are you willing to give in return for this success? By when, exactly, shall it be done? If you cannot answer these precise questions, you are not yet truly serious. You are merely flirting with fortune instead of making an unwavering, binding commitment to it. Sit in profound silence. Take a pen, write your definite chief aim as though your entire life depended on it, because in truth it does. Read it aloud when you rise in the morning, letting your voice fill the room. Read it again before you surrender to sleep, allowing it to penetrate your subconscious. Do not whisper it. Declare it. Do not read it like a casual sentence from a book. Read it like a solemn vow, an unbreakable oath to yourself and the universe. Let your powerful voice awaken your very soul. Let your ears hear your unwavering intention, strengthening its resonance. Let your spirit know it has been unequivocally summoned to obey. Your definite chief aim must be utterly clear, leaving no room for misinterpretation. That must explicitly name the precise amount of wealth you will acquire, the exact time by which you will acquire it, and the specific service or value you shall render in return for it. Vagueness is the absolute death of prosperity, a slow, insidious poison. Specificity, in contrast, is the very breath of it, the lifeblood that brings it into being. Speak your aim as a meticulous builder holds a detailed blueprint, not as a naive dreamer hoping for unearned favor. Do not touch the sanctuary of sleep without having first meticulously rehearsed your aim, the silent chamber of your mind. You must not drift into the night like a helpless leaf caught in the wind. You must go to rest having consciously and deliberately given your subconscious its clear, undeniable orders. And when you commit to this practice, you shall wake with immediate laser-like direction. Ideas will flood your mind. The right people will mysteriously appear. Circumstances will begin to align, seemingly by magic, but in truth, purely by law. The man who writes his purpose has already, in essence, begun to build it. The man who repeats it aloud has begun to believe it at a cellular level. The man who believes it begins to act with unwavering conviction. And the man who acts with belief must, by universal law, succeed. I tell you this plainly, without equivocation, until your definite aim is precisely written. You are not in true control of your destiny. You are merely reacting to external forces. You are unconsciously following the currents of stronger, more definite minds. But once your aim is boldly declared, you fundamentally become the stronger mind, the orchestrator of your reality, and all else begins to bend and conform around the absolute certainty you express. Do not delay, not for a single moment. Do not wait for the perfect wording. Write your aim today. Post it where your eyes simply cannot avoid seeing it. Speak it aloud every single morning, even if you do not yet fully believe it, especially when you do not yet believe it. For belief is not a prerequisite at the beginning. It is a powerful force forged by relentless repetition and consistent action. Every great man I have meticulously studied in history possessed a definite chief aim. Every single one, not most, but all, without exception. Some wrote it on their bedroom walls, some kept it meticulously folded in their pockets, some etched it into the deepest chambers of their minds so profoundly that they literally could not succeed. They burned the aim into their very being until the world had absolutely no choice but to deliver its promise. Now it is your turn. You must stop hoping, you must stop wishing, you must command. Write your aim, declare it aloud with unwavering conviction, speak it with burning passion, repeat it until your voice itself carries the undeniable weight of certainty, until your mind is utterly saturated with purpose, until your spirit moves in instant obedience at the sound of your own powerful command. Let me remind you, you cannot possibly reap what you refuse to plant. And a man who stubbornly refuses to write his definite purpose has already, by that very inaction, chosen to wander aimlessly. So write, speak, repeat, and let the law begin to move decisively in your favor. Principle 2. The soil must be prepared with faith, the potent seed of wealth. Your definite chief aim has now been meticulously written, but a seed, no matter how intrinsically potent, cannot grow in barren, infertile soil, and the soil of your mind must be prepared, not with fleeting chance or passive hope, but with unwavering faith. Thought is the precious seed, but faith is the living, nourishing soil. If your belief is weak, fragmented, or wavering, your fortune shall never truly rise, no matter how noble your aim. Faith is not blind acceptance or illogical fantasy. It is not merely emotional hope, subject to the whims of fleeting feelings. True faith is a profound spiritual certainty, meticulously built by consistent repetition, resolute decision, and deliberate mental command. It is the deep knowing, not merely the wishing, that what you have meticulously planted will, by universal law, bear abundant fruit. Just as the wise farmer does not foolishly dig up the ground each day to anxiously check if the tender roots are growing, you must not disturb the fragile beginnings of your purpose with corrosive doubt. You must deeply believe it is working, silently and powerfully, even when you see absolutely nothing tangible on the surface. Understand this fundamental law. Thoughts plus faith equals prosperity. A definite thought without the potent fuel of faith is like a dry, lifeless root cast into dead, arid ground. It withers. But when that same definite thought is fertilized by unwavering belief, by a certainty that transcends current evidence, it begins to pull immense power from unseen infinite sources. Infinite intelligence, the guiding force of the universe, does not respond to empty wishing or idle speculation. It responds only to definite belief infused with conviction. I have written before, and I repeat it now with renewed emphasis. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and decisive action to the impulse of thought. Without this potent elixir, you may labor tirelessly, you may act with great effort, you may strive with all your might, but your efforts will yield only confusion, frustration, and crippling delay. With it, however, the smallest, most seemingly insignificant act becomes mighty. The faintest whisper of intention becomes a resounding trumpet call that commands the universe. Let me give you the illuminating example of a man who profoundly understood this law. Thomas Edison. He famously failed 10,000 times in his relentless pursuit of the electric light. 10,000 times. But never once did he speak defeat or entertain the notion of quitting. He saw the light vibrantly and clearly in his mind long before the world ever did. He lived in the unwavering certainty of its creation long before the physical bulb ever glowed. That was not mere stubbornness or blind persistence. It was faith, absolute and unshakable. Faith is the living soil that does not demand to know how the harvest will appear. It implicitly obeys the universal law that states it shall be done. It does not consult current, limited evidence, which can be deceiving. It boldly commands future results, and crucially, faith is built. It is not magically given or bestowed. You do not passively wait for faith to descend upon you like a gift. You actively build it by relentless repetition. You precisely train it by what you consciously speak. You tirelessly nourish it by what you choose to believe, even when the external world gives you absolutely no immediate reason to. Faith is not passive resignation. It is not the idle acceptance of fate. It is the aggressive decision to walk, to move, to speak as if the very thing you seek already undeniably belongs to you. It is the inner unquenchable fire that whispers, though I see no harvest yet, I know the ground has received my seed. I will walk diligently in the direction of its inevitable fruits. This, my friend, is the kind of faith that demonstrably moves wealth. Affirm this now. I believe in the riches I command. I see them vibrantly before they physically appear. I walk in possession before the world confirms it. But how shall this powerful, unwavering faith be built within you? Through the scientifically proven principle of auto-suggestion. Every single time you speak your definite chief aim aloud, with genuine, heartfelt belief, you are systematically fertilizing the ground of your subconscious mind. You are diligently watering the soil. You are unequivocally saying to your inner mind, this is truth, this is reality, build it for me. This is not superstition or mysticism. This is immutable law. The subconscious mind responds only to repetition laced with profound emotion. That is precisely why I have commanded you. Read your aim aloud with palpable feeling, without emotion. Your words are mere dust, with belief, with conviction. They are living seeds of gold, destined to grow. You cannot possibly feed your mind both potent faith and corrosive doubt simultaneously. One must by necessity die. That the man who speaks words of belief and then immediately questions them in silence is building and tearing down in the same breath, a futile exercise. You must be ruthless with doubt. You must unequivocally replace it. You cannot argue with poison. You must eliminate it entirely, and every single time you feel the icy grip of fear, every time you feel unworthy, every time you find yourself wondering if you will truly succeed, you must speak your aim again with renewed vigor. You must drive belief deeper into the soil again. You must declare with unshakable conviction, this is mine. I shall have it. I am building it now. And do not confuse faith with arrogance. Arrogance foolishly says, I do not need instruction. I know everything. Faith, in its profound wisdom, says, I shall obey this universal law, diligently, consistently, until the inevitable result comes. Fourth, one denies truth, leading to stagnation. The other applies it, leading to mastery. And only one, my friend, consistently yields prosperity. Let me give you a clear, precise command. Repeat your definite purpose aloud with feeling, 3 times, daily. Once in the morning, immediately upon rising. Once during the active day, perhaps midday. And once again before you surrender to sleep, allowing it to permeate your subconscious. Let the tone be full, imbued with conviction. Let your breath be deep, powering your words. Let the words themselves be certain, absolute, and undeniable. This is the daily, sacred act of the wealthy, the masters of their destiny. The greatest fortune you shall ever earn is not measured in coins. It is in belief. For belief, when deeply held, becomes demonstrable behavior. Behavior, when consistently repeated, becomes ingrained habit, and habit, when aligned with purpose, becomes your undeniable destiny. Do not neglect this vital soil of your mind. Do not leave it to chance. Cultivate your faith as the dedicated gardener tends his fertile ground, daily, deliberately, and without fail. Now ask yourself, with honest self-reflection, do you truly believe in what you have written, not as a casual wish, but as an absolute command to the universe and to yourself? If not, then speak it again. Speak it again. Speak it again, until your mind begins to bend, irrevocably, toward certainty, until the words no longer feel foreign or aspirational but deeply familiar and true, until your heart answers back with a resounding, yes, this is mine. Remember this immutable law. Feeling makes the thought grow. If you speak without genuine feeling, without deep conviction, you will inevitably reap nothing. But if you speak with unwavering faith, if you speak with an inner fire that burns bright, if you speak with the undeniable authority of a man who already possesses the thing he names, then the world must, by law, obey. So now you know the truth. The seed has been meticulously planted, but the soil must be continually nourished, and that vital soil is belief. Faith is not an optional accessory to your pursuit of wealth. It is an absolute necessity. Without it, your precious seed dies, unnoticed, in the barren ground. With it, your definite purpose becomes unstoppable, an irresistible force. Now move forward with renewed conviction. You have planted the seed. You have begun to nourish the soil. In part 3, we will confront the powerful truth that riches obey planting, not wishing. Let us now continue our journey. Principle 3. Riches obey the law of planting, not wishing. You now hold a meticulously written aim, your blueprint for prosperity. You have begun to nourish it with the vital force of unwavering faith. But understand this fundamental truth: no matter how noble the purpose, no matter how deep and unshakable the belief, wishing alone shall produce absolutely nothing of substance. Riches, true, lasting riches, come forth only by the immutable law of planting. And a planted thought, unlike a fleeting wish, must be rigorously reinforced daily, not idly daydreamed occasionally. Wishing is the domain of idle men, of those who merely drift through life. They speak softly of what they hope for, but never move with the force of decision. The drifter wishes, eternally waiting for external circumstances to align. The builder, conversely, plants. He takes the vivid image meticulously constructed in his mind and drives it deep into the fertile soil of his subconscious with relentless repetition, unwavering discipline, and focused, intentional thought. You do not get what you wish for in this universe. You get precisely what you sow. Consider a farmer's field. It will never yield a bountiful crop just because a man stands at its edge and wishes for a harvest. He must physically turn the soil, meticulously insert the seed at the correct depth, water it consistently, shield it from external harms, and diligently tend to it daily. Then and only then shall the magnificent harvest inevitably come forth. Your mind, my friend, is that incredibly fertile field. Your definite, chosen thoughts are the potent seeds. But only through the immutable law of deliberate planting will riches ever physically appear. Understand this crucial distinction. Your thoughts are either idle or intentional. An idle thought is a weed. It grows, unchecked, by neglect. It invites fear, perpetuates uncertainty, and leads to stagnation. But a planted thought, a seed of definite purpose, is precise. It is consciously chosen, intentionally repeated, deeply believed, and powerfully enforced. Through daily command, you must become a meticulous gardener of the mind, tending to your inner landscape with unwavering vigilance. You cannot possibly think of poverty and simultaneously attract riches. You cannot dwell on lack and expect to build abundance. You cannot mentally rehearse fear and magically expect to embody courage. This is the law, simple yet profound. What you consciously and consistently plant in your mind, your life must, by universal decree, obey. And the tragic reality is that most men suffer not because of some cruel twist of fate, but because they have inadvertently planted a sprawling garden of confusion and contradictory thoughts. Let me give you another powerful example. Henry Ford did not build his colossal fortune by sheer luck. Long before a single Model T car ever rolled off his revolutionary production line, he had already meticulously constructed the entire idea in his mind. He saw the process. He believed in mass production when others called it foolishness. He planted the thought of efficiency daily until it became reality. Ford did not passively wait for economic conditions to miraculously improve. He did not wait for others to grudgingly agree with his radical vision. He acted relentlessly upon the definite thought that he had planted, and he kept planting, cultivating, and acting upon it, even when failure stared him squarely in the face, mocking his efforts. He knew the profound truth: a definite thought, planted with unshakable belief and consistently acted upon with unwavering purpose, inevitably becomes destiny. Now I say to you, with urgency, what are you planting each day? Each day that you rise without consciously repeating your definite chief aim, you are inadvertently planting weeds of distraction and indecision. Each hour spent in idle, undirected thought, in mindless conversation, or chasing fleeting, drifting desires, you are allowing more insidious weeds to take root and flourish. And understand, these weeds are not neutral. They are actively malignant. They will choke the very seed of your success, stealing its nourishment. You must become a man of active, intentional thought. Your mind must not be allowed to wander aimlessly. It must actively work. You are not to think randomly or reactively. You are to think deliberately, with purpose. Begin your morning, the most fertile time for planting, by embedding the vivid image of wealth. Speak your definite aim with authority. Declare your new, powerful identity. Water it with unshakable faith. Do this consistently, before the outside world begins to pull at your precious focus. Affirm this now: my mind is a fertile field. I plant prosperity, not confusion. I water it with belief. I guard it from fear. I reap what I command. You do not need more time in your day. You need more planting. You do not need more chances. You need more repetition of your definite aim. Stop waiting for better conditions. That is a trap of inaction. Start building better thoughts. Every single day you do not plant, invite decay and stagnation, and every single day you do plant, with conscious effort, you relentlessly strengthen the roots of your prosperous future. Now, understand the profound law of cosmic habit force. This is the invisible, yet incredibly powerful law that binds repeated thought into ingrained habit, and ingrained habit, in turn, into undeniable reality. The more often you think a definite thought, infused with belief, the more that thought becomes automatic, ingrained in your subconscious. And once it becomes automatic, it begins to silently and powerfully erect your decisions, influence your emotions, shape your speech, and ultimately, dictate your results. Habit force is the soil's memory. It does not forget what you plant. If you think fear, delay, and indecision each morning, it will grow more of it. If you think purpose, courage, and wealth, it will multiply the seed. But it must be done daily, relentlessly, not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Do not dare tell me you are too busy to plant definite thought. A man who is too busy for 5 minutes of focused purpose is not consciously building success. He is building failure on schedule. Carve out the time, guard that time fiercely, and use the time to plant with unwavering intensity. Just as the dedicated farmer rises early to sow his seeds before the scorching sun bakes the earth, you must rise before the world speaks its cacophony to your mind. Plant first, speak first, repeat first. Let the very first voice you hear each morning be the powerful voice of your purpose, not the voice of confusion or scarcity from the outside world. Let me give you your clear command each morning: before you eat, before you speak to another soul, before you listen to the opinions of men, plant the thought of wealth into your mind by repeating your aim aloud with unshakable belief. Each evening before you surrender to sleep, repeat it again. Diligently. Feed the soil as your subconscious mind opens to receive it. Do not wait for motivation to strike. This is not about how you feel. This is about what you are commanded to do by universal law. The weak man seeks to feel ready. The strong man plants anyway, and by obeying this command, he trains his emotions to follow. You are actively building a mind that cannot drift. You are systematically replacing idle thinking with organized, powerful planting. And organized thought, consistently applied, is the undeniable root of every great fortune. Do not seek more information. Do not wait for an external sign. Begin to plant. Begin to sow, and the harvest, by law, must come. Now prepare to move forward with unyielding resolve. In part 4, I will teach you that once the seed is planted and the soil is nourished, it must be acted upon as though the harvest were already guaranteed. Because in the realm of law, it is principle 4. You must act as though the harvest is guaranteed, no matter how clearly you meticulously write your definite aim, no matter how faithfully you speak it aloud. No matter how deeply you believe it within your core, it will not bear tangible fruit unless you move. Action is the indispensable bridge between abstract thought and physical possession. Action is the undeniable proof of true belief. Without it, you are no sower of seeds. You are merely a man gazing wistfully at a fertile field, idly hoping it will miraculously plant itself. Faith, true, dynamic faith, must not stand idle and passive. It must walk. It must build. It must advance with unwavering conviction as though the outcome were already absolutely certain. When a wise farmer casts his precious seed into the earth, he does not sit in paralyzing fear, wondering if it will fail. He does not ask, what if it doesn't grow? He certainly does not revisit the field hourly to dig up his work. No, he expects the harvest with every fiber of his being. He moves forward with an unshakable confidence in the natural order, and so must you, that must act in absolute, unwavering faith that your riches are undeniably on their way, already a done deal in the unseen realm, that the very moment you planted your definite chief and reinforced it with relentless repetition, fervent belief and focused thought, you set in motion colossal, unseen forces of the universe. But these forces only respond to continued obedience, and consistent movement is the ultimate act of obedience. Consider Rockefeller. He was not universally praised when he boldly expanded his empire during severe financial crises. He was not cheered by the masses when he audaciously bought failing refineries. He did not act because others believed in his vision. He acted before belief appeared in the public consciousness. Leading the way, that is the law of the wealthy. The rich man moves first. He does not wait for external applause or public validation. He moves because he is governed by an internal law, a deep inner knowing, not by the fickle tides of public opinion or external circumstance. Every single man who built a truly great fortune moved decisively when his actions made absolutely no sense to others, when he was met with skepticism and derision. Edison built the electric light through 10,000 perceived failures. He did not wait for a crowd of believers to validate his audacious idea. He acted because he had already unequivocally decided the outcome. In his mind, the outcome was already vibrantly real in his thought. Therefore, he built in advance of public perception. Now I say to you with utmost clarity, do not wait. Do not delay your movement. Do not postpone your first step, simply because the entire path is not yet perfectly lit. The path, my friend, only becomes visible after you begin to walk it. Action is the living water that powerfully fertilizes your belief. Every single time you move, even incrementally, you multiply the potent power of your thought. Let us indelibly burn this truth into the very core of your mind. I act before the world approves. I speak before it claps. I build before it believes. These are not mere poetic phrases. These are immutable laws of wealth creation. The man who passively waits for external signs is a beggar. The man who moves with an inner vision is a builder. Must build as though the riches you command were already undeniably yours. You might say, but I do not yet see results. My efforts seem to yield nothing. To that, I say, then plant more, move more, water more, but under no circumstances do not cease. You do not foolishly question the harvest every single hour. You do not frantically dig up the delicate roots to anxiously check their progress. No, you continue in unwavering faith. You act in consistent rhythm. You obey the law of motion. All action is not required to be grand or flashy. It is required to be daily and deliberate. If your definite aim is to build a thriving business, then today, send that crucial letter, make that vital call, write that next page of your plan, meticulously study the market, refine your strategy. If your aim is to attract wealth, begin by actively creating value, by solving a significant problem for others, by boldly offering your unique service, by diligently developing your innovative idea, but above all, move every single day. Do not for a single moment confuse mere planning with actual action. Many promising men are buried beneath mountains of beautifully crafted plans. They have drawn the most perfect map, but they have never taken that crucial first step. And then they wonder why no riches, no prosperity, ever arrives. It is because the fertile soil of reality only responds to the one who actively plants and waters, not the one who merely dreams of planting. You must now form an unshakable pattern of consistent movement. Decide, with absolute resolve, that every single day, without exception, you shall take one definite, purposeful action toward your definite chief aim. Not 100 vague scattered steps, but one clear, focused, deliberate act. This is precisely how a colossal fortune is built. Not by frenzied, chaotic bursts, but by an unwavering, consistent rhythm of action. Affirm this now. I move daily in obedience to my aim. I build even when the world is still. I act with the certainty of one who already owns the harvest. This is not mere optimism. It is the embodiment of discipline. It is profound spiritual law. You are to act in perfect harmony with your definite thought, and when your powerful thought and your decisive movement are flawlessly aligned, nothing in this universe can possibly stop you. Beware of the man who endlessly studies but refuses to act. He is the most dangerous kind of drifter. He wears the outward garments of wisdom, but possesses none of its power. For power resides not merely in learning. Power is found only in the use of what is known. Do not weakly say, I do not feel like acting today. The true builder, the master of his destiny, does not wait for a fleeting mood. He obeys the immutable law. And law is not based on ephemeral emotion. It is based on unshakable command. You must become the man who acts regardless of how he feels when you move. You teach your body to obey your mind's commands, and when the body obeys the mind, you become a master. You are no longer a slave to fatigue or procrastination. You are no longer governed by external distractions or inner resistance. You become a man of dominion. Let this be your daily sacred command. Every single day, take one deliberate action that undeniably proves your unwavering faith in your definite purpose. Do not explain it. Do not justify it. Do not wait for perfect timing. Act. Act now. Act again tomorrow, and again the next day. Consistent movement builds unstoppable momentum. Momentum, in turn, magnetically attracts opportunity, and opportunity, understand this, only ever arrives for the man who is already moving. It does not visit the one who is still, passively waiting. It does not reveal itself to the one who waits for permission. It appears mysteriously yet inevitably in the path of motion. You must be in motion to receive it. Each act, no matter how seemingly small, is a powerful vote for the new, wealthy identity you are forming. When you act with power and conviction, you feed your unwavering belief, and belief, when solidified, becomes your very identity, and identity, when embraced, becomes your undeniable destiny. Let us close this part with your powerful declaration. I act before I am ready. I move before I am approved. I believe as though I already possess the riches I command. Now prepare yourself for the next profound law of prosperity, which demands that you guard your mind from debilitating noise, that you fiercely protect your focus in the profound sanctuary of silence. Let us move forward with purpose. Principle 5. Wealth grows best in the silence of inner discipline. Riches are not born amidst cacophony and chaos. They are conceived in the profound stillness of silence. They are nurtured in the quiet solitude of deep thought. They are matured, polished, and brought to full fruition in the still inner chambers of a man's disciplined mind. A mind that is never quiet, constantly bombarded by external stimuli, can never truly command its own destiny, let alone great wealth. A man who does not diligently guard his inner world, his mental sanctuary, is already conquered by voices that are not his own, by manufactured urgencies that are not real, by a world that relentlessly profits from his perpetual distraction. To build lasting wealth, to truly master your financial destiny, you must first learn the art of sitting in profound stillness. You must learn to silence the noise and hear the subtle, yet powerful voice of universal law speaking within you. This voice does not shout in frantic tones. It whispers with undeniable clarity, and it will never, ever be heard by a man whose days are perpetually ruled by incessant chatter. He who fears being alone with his own thoughts, who constantly seeks external validation or distraction, has not yet claimed true authority over them. And a man, understand this, cannot effectively lead his life if he is afraid of the deepest counsel of his own mind. Consider Abraham Lincoln. He was not loud or ostentatious. He was profoundly deliberate. He would sit for hours not to escape action but to meticulously shape it in the crucible of his mind. He understood what most men tragically miss: clarity. True, unwavering clarity comes not from frenzied reaction to external events, but from profound reflection and inner stillness. You cannot command great riches with a constantly reactive mind. You must be still long enough to listen intently to your deepest purpose, to consult with infinite intelligence, to receive precise instruction and divine guidance from the inner chamber of your being. Say this aloud. With conviction I protect my silence. In silence I hear the voice of purpose. In silence I multiply riches. Do not, for a moment, confuse this profound stillness with laziness or idleness. This is not the aimless drifting of an unmotivated spirit. This is the sacred silence of true builders, the indispensable discipline of those who seek ultimate mastery. Before you act decisively, you must first align your inner world. Before you speak with authority, you must first listen deeply to your inner wisdom. Before you command the external world, you must first commune with the immutable law of your own spirit. Make this a non-negotiable, daily law in your life. 15 to 30 minutes of complete, uninterrupted silence. This is not with the aim to escape your responsibilities, but to prepare yourself during this sacred time. Consciously and consistently repeat your definite chief aim. Visualize it vividly, speak it aloud, or simply sit with it, holding it gently yet firmly in the inner chamber of your mind, like a precious, glowing flame. Let no single day pass without this private, profound meeting with your highest purpose. Infinite intelligence, the source of all solutions and innovations, speaks most clearly when the conscious mind is still. The greatest ideas are not shouted into your mind amidst chaos. They arise subtly, quietly, in moments of profound calm. Like a priceless pearl forming deep beneath the tranquil waves, you must become still enough, centered enough, to notice them, and when they arrive, flowing effortlessly into your awareness, write them down immediately, obey them, test them. Distraction is the most insidious destroyer of riches. In today's world, tragically, is a perpetual festival of distraction. Every bell, every voice, every gossip seeks to pull your mind from its throne. The average man is perpetually ruled by this incessant noise. But you are not average. You are not perpetually available to every random voice. You do not compulsively answer every message. You do not chase every fleeting opinion. You are not led by the world. You lead yourself. Say this with power and conviction. I am not accessible to confusion. I do not think with the world's chaos. I think with the immutable law. You must now, with the precision of a master gardener, ruthlessly pull the debilitating weeds from your mental garden, and understand that weeds are anything that relentlessly breaks your laser-like focus. Gossip, the constant barrage of news, feeds, complaining without purpose, idle arguments, impulsive emotional reactions. These are not small matters. They are potent seeds of poverty. For every single moment you spend reacting to external noise is a moment irrevocably stolen from the sacred act of building your riches. Lincoln wrote his profound letters in silence. Edison took long, meditative walks in silence. Ford sat alone and vividly visualized machines in motion. Carnegie systematically removed himself from the incessant noise of critics to concentrate with unwavering intensity on the structure of his empire. These men profoundly understood a truth that must now become your own. No lasting riches can truly flourish in a noisy, scattered mind. Make this an unwavering law in your life. You shall have a chamber of silence. It may be a physical room, a particular chair, a walk through the woods at dawn, but it must be sacred. It must be a regular, non-negotiable practice, and it must be exclusively yours. A sanctuary for your mind. In that profound place of stillness, no external world is allowed to intrude. Only your definite purpose. Only the immutable law of the universe. Only the clear, guiding voice of the powerful self you are actively becoming. And in that sacred silence, ask questions of profound purpose. Not, what do I feel right now? But what is required of me by my definite aim? Not, am I ready yet? But what precise action aligns with my law, my purpose? You are not consulting temporary emotion. You are consulting your undeniable destiny. The difference, my friend, is everything. Let us now affirm again, with deep conviction. In silence I prepare my riches. Now, with these 5 foundational principles deeply etched into your consciousness: definite purpose, unwavering faith, consistent planting, decisive action, and the sacred silence of inner discipline, you hold the very keys to unlocking unlimited wealth. This is not the end of the journey, but the powerful beginning of your transformation. From a passive recipient of circumstance to an active commander of your destiny. This is the truth that will set you free. Your mind is not a mere storage unit. It is a fertile field on what you choose to plant, nurture and act upon in that field will, by universal law, manifest in your life. Stop hoping for fortune to knock. Start building the magnificent mansion that fortune cannot ignore. The world will call it luck, coincidence or innate talent, but you will know it was forged in the silent battles with doubt, ignited by an unwavering vision, and hardened by relentless, disciplined action. Your wealth is not outside you. It is waiting inside your potential. It is waiting for you to believe, to command, to act. So, if this message has resonated with your soul, if it has awakened the sleeping giant within you, then I ask you to commit to these laws. Don't let this be just another speech you've heard. Let it be the turning point that changes everything. Take command of your destiny today. Like this video if you're ready to embrace these laws and unlock your potential. Share this message with someone who needs to hear this truth, who is ready to stop wishing and start building. Leave a comment below and declare your definite chief aim. Let us know what you are planting today. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Join our community of builders, commanders, and creators. We are here to empower you, to guide you, to remind you daily of the immense power you hold within. Your mind is wealthy. The world has no choice but to catch up. The journey begins now. Obey the law.